Welcome to this eye-opening exploration of a topic that has entered mainstream conversations but remains shrouded in mystery: anonymous sexting. We're diving deep into this enigmatic world that marries technology, sexuality, and sometimes, secrecy. Sexting, the act of sending sexually explicit messages or pictures, takes on a different dimension when anonymity is added to the mix. But is this a safe or advisable road to go down? A deeper dive into this subject reveals a host of issues that could potentially wreak havoc in various aspects of your life. 1. Emotional ramifications. Starting off with a bang, let's discuss the emotional whirlwind that anonymous sexting can create. While it might feel like a non-committal, no-strings-attached activity, your emotional health could take a beating. Ever heard of sexting remorse? It's a term coined by relationship therapists to describe the feeling of regret or anxiety after participating in sexting activities. The psychology of anonymous sexting is a bit like gambling. The highs can be intoxicating, but the lows can be soul-crushing. Engaging in sexually explicit conversations with a stranger might sound exhilarating at first, but the emotional aftermath is often underestimated. The truth is, emotional ties can form even when names are unknown. It's a misconception that anonymity can shield you from emotional vulnerabilities. In fact, research indicates that the cloak of anonymity can sometimes encourage stronger emotional ties as people feel safer revealing their innermost thoughts and feelings. Ever heard of the strangers on a Tron or chatroom confidant phenomenon? Well, the same psychological mechanics are at play here. Not to mention, if you're already in a committed relationship, anonymous sexting can stir a hornet's nest of emotions like guilt, betrayal, and conflict, which we'll delve into more deeply later. Even if you're single, the emotional exhaustion from navigating this complicated web can be quite draining. In a study published in the Journal of Sex and Marital Therapy, 45% of adults who engaged in sexting reported negative emotional outcomes. This data is too significant to ignore when considering whether or not to engage in anonymous sexting. If you think you can handle the emotional implications, then by all means, proceed. But remember, it's not just about the here and now, it's also about the emotional baggage that could potentially build up over time. 2. Legal consequences. Here's where things get really serious. While anonymous sexting might feel like a victimless act, you could unknowingly be breaking the law. Yes, you read that correctly. Depending on your jurisdiction, sexting, even among consenting adults, can have severe legal repercussions. Laws about sexting vary from place to place, but in many jurisdictions, sending or receiving sexually explicit material can result in criminal charges. For instance, if your anonymous sexting partner turns out to be a minor, you could be looking at a host of legal issues, including potential jail time. Scary, right? Moreover, even if both parties are adults, anonymous sexting can sometimes fall under the category of revenge porn, sexual harassment, or non-consensual pornography. These are areas of law that are still evolving, and what might seem like an innocent interaction today could be deemed illegal tomorrow. Legal professionals are increasingly sounding the alarm on this issue. A survey conducted by the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers found that 62% of divorce cases involved some form of electronic infidelity, including sexting. And remember, divorce courts aren't the only legal battlegrounds when it comes to anonymous sexting. Given the sensitive nature and potential legal pitfalls, it's advisable to be aware of your local laws surrounding sexting. Don't assume you're in the clear just because you're hiding behind a username or a fake profile. The legal system is increasingly tech-savvy, and you might find yourself ensnared in a web of legal complications. So before you hit send on that spicy text, take a moment to consider the potential legal consequences. It's always better to be safe than sorry, especially when your reputation and freedom could be at stake. 3. Data privacy concerns. Let's talk data privacy, or lack thereof, when it comes to anonymous sexting. You might think that using a pseudonym or even an encrypted service offers sufficient protection, but oh boy, are you mistaken. The internet is a murky place, and the risks to your personal information are ever present. Even platforms that claim to offer end-to-end encryption aren't foolproof. A simple data breach, which is becoming increasingly common, could expose your conversations and explicit materials to prying eyes. Not only does this put you at risk for blackmail, but it also jeopardizes your reputation. Data privacy experts have long been raising red flags about the susceptibility of sexting platforms to hacks. Take the high-profile case of the Ashley Madison data breach, where the personal details of millions of users were exposed. While not strictly about anonymous sexting, the case highlights the fragility of data protection in the realm of online sexual activities. Then there's the issue of metadata. Did you know that every photo you send carries a unique set of data, which can include the time and place it was taken, among other details? Crafty individuals can exploit this information to discover your identity, so simply being anonymous isn't really a shield against all threats. In a 2018 report by the Center for Humane Technology, experts warned that hackers could use sensitive personal information to engage in sextortion, coercing victims into sending money or more explicit material. With this chilling scenario in mind, you must weigh the potential risks to your data privacy before engaging in anonymous sexting. So, if you still decide to venture into the realm of anonymous sexting, make sure you're doing it on a platform that has stringent data protection measures. Even then, always remember that no system can be 100% secure. 4. Relationship impact. If you're in a committed relationship, anonymous sexting can unleash a Pandora's box of troubles. It can be a breach of trust that brings feelings of betrayal and deception into the relationship. Even if your partner has never explicitly said, "No sexting," the implicit emotional contract in most committed relationships frowns upon such activities. Studies have shown that online infidelity can be just as damaging, if not more so, than physical infidelity. A 2017 study published in the Archives of Sexual Behavior found that emotional affairs online led to higher instances of breakups than purely sexual affairs. If anonymous sexting gets in the way of emotional intimacy with your partner, you're treading on thin ice. But it's not just about infidelity. The secrecy and deception involved in anonymous sexting can lead to a toxic dynamic in your relationship. Trust is easily broken and incredibly hard to rebuild. If discovered, your activities could lead to intense emotional pain for your partner, creating a rift that's difficult to mend. Consider also the ethical implications. What would you feel if the shoe were on the other foot? If your partner were engaged in anonymous sexting, would you consider that a betrayal? It's a slippery slope and one that has resulted in relationship breakdowns, as many relationship therapists can attest. If you're in a relationship and considering anonymous sexting as an outlet, it may be worthwhile to first have an open and honest conversation with your partner. Some couples establish boundaries that permit certain online activities, while others consider them out of bounds. Knowing where you stand can help you navigate this complicated landscape more ethically. Whatever you do, don't underestimate the potential impact on your relationship. Love and trust are hard to build but devastatingly easy to destroy. Think long and hard before you jeopardize something precious for a fleeting thrill. 5. Manipulation risks. Another dark alley in the world of anonymous sexting is the potential for manipulation. The relative anonymity can embolden some individuals to manipulate their sexting partners emotionally or even financially. Ever heard of catfishing? It's a term used to describe individuals who create fake identities online to deceive others, and it's surprisingly prevalent in the realm of anonymous sexting. Manipulative individuals can portray themselves in a way that meets your deepest desires, luring you into a false sense of security. Before you know it, you could be sharing more than you intended, making you vulnerable to blackmail or emotional manipulation. A 2019 study from the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships highlights how people can be deceived into believing they're communicating with someone genuine, only to be exploited later. It's a sobering reminder that not everyone online has good intentions. And don't think that manipulation is exclusive to emotional or romantic contexts. There are instances of financial manipulation as well. The promise of anonymity can lead to requests for gifts, tokens, or other monetary exchanges that might seem innocuous but can quickly escalate into a financially damaging situation. It's crucial to keep your wits about you and maintain a healthy level of skepticism when engaging in anonymous sexting. Make sure you're not revealing identifiable information and be cautious if the conversation starts steering towards gifts or financial exchanges. Remember, emotional and financial safety should always be your top priorities. The anonymity that seems so appealing in this context can also be a breeding ground for manipulative behavior. Always be cautious, and if something doesn't feel right, trust your instincts. 6. Impact on mental health. When discussing anonymous sexting, mental health is often a sideline topic, but it shouldn't be. The potential impact on your mental well-being can be profound. You may initially find it exhilarating, but the clandestine nature of these activities can weigh heavily on your conscience over time. Psychologists have noted the potential for guilt, shame, or anxiety to manifest after engaging in anonymous sexting, particularly when the action contradicts your own values or those of your social circle. A study published in the Journal of Applied Social Psychology in 2020 found that engaging in activities that evoke moral conflict can lead to increased levels of stress and anxiety. There's also the potential for addictive behavior. Just like gambling or substance abuse, the thrill of anonymous sexting can become addictive for some individuals. It's a cycle that can exacerbate existing mental health issues like depression and anxiety disorders, leading to a destructive downward spiral. Additionally, you may find that you're losing time and focus in other areas of your life. Social responsibilities, professional obligations, and even self-care can take a backseat, causing a domino effect on your overall mental health. It's not just about you either. What about the mental health of the person on the other end? Are they consenting adults, fully aware of the implications, or are they also in a vulnerable state? Being a part of another person's cycle of unhealthy behavior can add another layer of psychological burden. So, if you find yourself tempted by the thrill of anonymous sexting, consider the potential mental toll it may take. It's an aspect that is often overlooked, but it's crucial to consider for both your well-being and that of your anonymous partner. 7. Ethical dilemmas. Ethics, the elephant in the room when it comes to anonymous sexting. While the digital world can make many things easier and more accessible, it also presents a plethora of ethical conundrums. One of the major questions is, just because you can, does that mean you should? When you engage in anonymous sexting, are you being entirely honest with your partner about your intentions? The anonymity can make it easier to deceive, exaggerate, or even lie. Ethical guidelines in such scenarios are fuzzy at best, making it easy to justify questionable actions. It's not just about the interpersonal ethics between you and your sexting partner, there's a bigger societal picture here. By contributing to the culture of anonymous sexting, are we normalizing a form of interaction that is fundamentally deceitful? Think about the precedent this sets, especially for younger generations navigating their way through the complex world of relationships and technology. Moreover, are you certain that your anonymous partner is of legal age and consents to the activities you're engaging in? Age verification mechanisms on many platforms are notoriously unreliable, and you could unknowingly be crossing legal and ethical boundaries. As philosopher Immanuel Kant posited, an action is only ethical if it could be universally applied without causing harm. When looked at from this perspective, anonymous sexting seems to tread on shaky ethical ground. Therefore, it's crucial to thoroughly consider the ethical dimensions before diving in. If you are contemplating anonymous sexting, perhaps ponder these ethical questions seriously. It's a murky realm, fraught with moral complexities that can't be easily dismissed. You owe it to yourself and others to think this through.